the current unofficial world record of the old route variety. And the runners are off. And we start with Cirrus Station, as always.
All the jumping makes me think that the Sirius station was the scientists were indentured servants.
Yeah. And Samus knows something's wrong as she runs by all those dead people. Actually, there weren't that many of them. It must be a skeleton crew, which is maybe a good thing. I don't know. Here they enter the room with Ridley. Most of you already know this, but if what they basically do want to do is damage themselves down as quickly as they can so that Ridley will run off with the baby Metroid. Alternatively, they could shoot Ridley 100 times. I don't know about you, but I know I've never actually managed to do that, or even, I'm not sure I really even tried, except maybe the first time I played when you don't quite understand what's going on.
I've never done it, but I have tried to push for it to be the next tournament, the Ridley 100-shot RTA.
There you go. Meanwhile, the runners are now in the escape Cirrus Station. Trolled by the steam there by Nintoaster. And Stefcad the first out, both with mid-43s. Very nicely done.
I'd take it.
So would I. Absolutely. Okay. As you get a look at SRL, for those who've never seen it before, as they go down to the planet. I'm not sure. We'll see if either of these runners use Moonfall.
That's good. A nice, appropriate fall speed race. I'm good with that.
Yeah, especially if they're both doing it. I think Nintoaster is somewhat of a newer runner. Stefcad, a little bit of an older runner. A lot of especially the older runners, won't use Moonfall because it changes the way some of the boss fights work, especially the Ridley fight.
Well, if they would have just killed him on series, there wouldn't be the issue of the Moonfall fight.
No, there you go. And they pick up their morph balls. Can't get very far without that. As anybody who's run some of the randomizers where morph ball is not in one of those first two spots knows.
Those are kind of some of my favorites, though.
Yeah. None of those showed up in the tournament, of course. They didn't do it that way, but there are seeds out there where you can put morph ball in quite a few different places.
Yeah, those are kind of... They're more fun to watch, maybe, than participate in.
Yeah. Maybe the next rando tournament, they'll do something like that. Pretty close here as they make their way up the elevator. Okay, someone corrected me. Apparently, Nintoaster's been around a little bit longer than I thought, though. So that makes more sense that he's, a lot of the newer runners tend to use the Moonfall because they're not quite as ingrained with their muscle memory on the boss fights as some of the older runners. Nintoaster doing a very nice ledge grab climb. Stefcad doing wall jumps. I always like to see the two different types of climbs side by side. Stefcad getting out just ever so slightly faster.
The climb, they both look impressive. I think the ledge grab one looks more impressive, but it's, they're both equally difficult in their own way.
Exactly. When done well, they both look super impressive when done optimally. And now we get to bomb Chorizo. Both with full energy. That's important because when they shoot these little balls that come out, they want to get missile drops. If you don't have full energy, you might get all energy drops and thus make the fight a little bit longer.
Nintoaster with a nice PT. Really smooth.
And both leaving with 5 missiles, which is good. Full ammo. And now comes the moment we'll get a better idea of whether we're going to see old or new route. We've seen Nintoaster damaging himself right through the space pirates. That's usually an indication of old route, as in new route, you really want to conserve as much energy as you can for that early Fantoon fight with 1 E-Tank and no suit. Both, in fact, going through the damage boosting. So I fully expect we will see a good old-fashioned old route race here.
Some might say the correct route race.
Well, it's still the route I use, so. Nintoaster with a nice mock ball into the early supers room. Stefcad as well.
Runners always make this look so easy, but when you first try to do it, it is god awful.
It was a hard trick to learn, but once you get it, it's not too bad. Important sequence break, as without it, they'd have to go fight Spore Spawn to get those first super missiles, and that's a big time loss.
But an awesome time loss.
Yeah, we don't get enough Spore Spawn in our life in any percent. Nintoaster picking up a small lead as he picks up charge, maybe what, 10 seconds? So far this is living up to the billing of being a nice close race.
Yeah, it comes out about 10 seconds. Yep, Nintoaster about a fanfare, door transition ahead.
And indeed, Nintoaster goes down as expected. Let's see if Stefcad follows him. And he does.
Are we gonna get to see the swag crate entrance? Yes.
Oh, nice. Oh, not quite. Just misses that last bit of the jump, but recovers nicely with the nice little wall jump. Neither runner picking up Spazer.
So pretty much invalidated runs.
Yeah. And Stefcad with a very nice entrance into Kraid's lair. Most old route runners will not pick up Spazer. The extra time to pick it up, not really worth the extra damage that it does, especially if you plan on using X Factors on Fantoon. Now, I don't know if either one of these runners do X Factors or not. We will see that in a little bit. But the menu of having to turn Phaser off to do that particular strat adds just a little bit more time. Another reason not to get him, not to get it.
One crate down. Interesting that Stefcad not using the morph ball technique to reduce the lag, so getting a little bit extra lag here.
Oh, I think he missed that last super.
Yeah,
but this shouldn't take very long. One more missile shot should do it. And indeed, grade is down.
So just a quick trip to the prom for Craig today.
Yep. The Stefcad says, no, you need to go home.
Dress is unacceptable. And Toaster's struggling to get in the party zone there. I think he might have forgot to jump out of the mini crate room here, so they were just sitting there waiting to party boy dance on him.
Both runners choosing to pick up the crate E-tank, that extra little bit of safety. I don't blame them. A lot of runners will skip that and save just a little bit of time. But that's, a couple door transitions and an item fanfare. Not too much of a time loss there for the extra energy. I'll tell you what, one really big time loss is dying, and hopefully that extra E-tank will stop any of that from happening.
Yeah, 10 seconds not to die, probably worth it in my opinion.
Exactly.
I do think as we get further into the tournament, especially into the brackets, you'll see it used a lot less.
I think you're absolutely right. Right now, you're in a group stage. If you lose one match or one game, you still have a shot of going through. But once we get to the brackets, that's going to be single elimination, and I think we're going to see a little less safety, I think.
Yeah, and if everyone doesn't know, each runner they're going to have a minimum of, is it 4 races?
It's 4.
Yeah.
4 races. The groups are groups of 5. So you'll race each of your group opponents once, so for a total of 4 races. And one of the tiebreakers is overall time. I believe they're going to take the average of the middle 2 runs.
Yes.
So it's within your best interest to try and get a good time, but you don't want to lose time to something silly like dying or forfeit, which gives you an automatic 3-hour race time. Oh, Nintoaster having a little bit of trouble getting up Bubble Mountain, but he gets there.
I think he might have kind of selectively missed the second wall jump there just to miss King Cac, who is a giant jerk.
Yeah, one of the hidden bosses, if you will, of the game. In Stefcad's case, he got trolled by the waiver there, trying to get up. Goes for the pseudo screw method on the second try, and gets it just fine.
Yeah, the minion there, the King Cac's minion waiver.
And we get a little bit of a high five as Nintoaster runs out and Stefcad jogs in.
I'm thinking Nintoaster is going to need at least 3 farms, probably 4 now.
Yeah, super count was kind of low there. Actually, it was 0, so it was extremely low. And he'll want those to get into Fan 2. You need a couple of those supers to open doors on your way up.
Yeah. And the bugs were not nice early.
No.
Stefcad with a 2 farm and much better drops.
See if Nintoaster chooses to use his super to open the wave gate door. Nope, he uses his missiles, which I think is really smart because you don't know when you're gonna get those next drops. Now you have one super. You're probably gonna easily get a second one, but getting that extra one, he doesn't have to quite think about it quite as much.
Yeah, he should be able to get the one from King Cac on his way back out. And then if he so chooses to farm some of the Cacs in Red Tower. I felt like by saying that, though, King Cac was going to do the random small health drop or whatever he could do.
Fortunately, that didn't happen. So to answer the question in chat about control schemes, there are almost, it feels like, as many control schemes as there are runners. I personally use the default one with changing item select and item cancel between X and select. I know a lot of runners like to use Y for shoot. I don't know which way either of these runners go.
There is a fancy spreadsheet about it somewhere, though.
Yeah, there is actually.
But I've ran what's called the Mega Man X with the Y shoot, B jump, A dash, and when I get back into it, it's probably going to be me to try to learn a new scheme, just because it's so hard to do some of the speed boost techniques with it.
Meanwhile, Nintoaster was looking really good going up Red Tower. Gets it on the second try. Was looking good for that ledge grab at the end. Didn't quite get it.
But on control schemes, for control schemes, I always would recommend, if you get a chance or you find a runner sometime, or just ask somebody in the community, they'll be able to point you in the right direction in another stream. Probably not right now because of links and everything, but check the spreadsheet out, because you'll see there's a couple pretty wild ones out there. You're like, I can't believe that works, and they're great runners doing it.
Well, the one that I find really impressive is Behemoth using the run button as one of the shoulder buttons, and is still able to do beautiful ledge grabs despite not having an angle down button.
That's the most notable one to me.
And Toaster getting his power bombs. Stefcad right behind him, just getting his power bombs. You'll notice that they power bomb that door because you know they're going to come back that way. So you power bomb that door now. You don't have to worry about it later.
Nintoaster committed to the swag attempt of a ocean fly.
And just a little bit too high. Actually, a lot too high.
I don't think he got the missile fired off or the super fired off either. So,
but doing it in 2 Shine Sparks works almost as well. A little bit slower, but not that much. Stefcad picking up the missiles, as sometimes happens. Never hurts to have a few extra missiles anyway.
If it's a happy accident in a run situation, as much as Metroids have been jerks about driving off, I think it's helpful.
And Stefcad with a nice little speedball, showing a little bit of swag coming through that tunnel room. Nintoaster the first to fight Phantoon. Looks like he's setting up for at least one X Factor.
And Nintoaster got the entry one.
Very nice X Factor opening up. Stefcad also setting up for X Factor, so he'll have an opportunity to do a few more. He's got more power bombs.
The Toaster, unfortunately, not getting the dot where he wanted there for 2 rounds, but hopefully he gets another quick pattern here.
And Phantoon is down for Nintoaster. Nicely done.
Stefcad successful first X Factor.
But he's going to go, well, like he may go for Dopplers on this next round since he does not have power bombs selected. Wasn't quite ready for, oh, there he goes. Nothing worse than not being ready for that eye opening on Phantoon.
Yeah, I think he just got stuck in that corner and knew he didn't want to be there, but had no choice. Phantoon showing his true jerk selfness.
And Phantoon is down for Stefcad as well.
Nintoaster going for the Speed Echo Attic Strat. Did not get it quite probably how he wanted to, but recovered nicely for made it through there pretty quickly.
Looks like he was farming up a little bit of extra. I don't blame him. In this next room with the spikes, I believe those spikes deal 30 damage, and right now the only real way to get across is to either take the damage as he's doing, or is to do a very tight short charge to get across. Either way, you're going to take damage. And now Nintoaster can take a little bit of a break as he goes bowling.
Yeah, I think he'll probably check his Friendster page, as I always make my dated references here.
I haven't heard of that one. Then again, I didn't get into much of the social media when it was first coming out.
I just knew it existed. I mean, I think I had an account, but beyond that, it didn't really do much.
Oh, and Stefcad missed something in there. Very nice attic spark. Oh, there it is.
Oh, maybe it was an atomic, but
looks like it was an atomic. Hate having to go back and having to find which enemy did I kill.
I just go in shooting at everything and hoping something hits.
Always a good idea.
Just take the action movie, theory to it. Just shoot.
It's a good theory. And now Stefcad can check his, would you call it Friendster account?
Yeah, there's Friendster, or I was thinking he was going to update his Angel Fire page.
Oh my God, not when I do remember.
And maybe use some progs on his AOL Instant Messenger.
So I don't miss those AOL CDs in the mail.
Oh, we should.
Go ahead.
Oh, he's opening the tunnel. Don't worry. I was just going to say something stupid.
Runners will head into Meridia.
Fun fact, Meridia filled with the tears of speedrunners, actually.
As the fish gets in his way. Darn fish always in the way.
Yeah, one of those advertised mini bosses there.
Oh, and Stefcad falling into one of the Vileplumes. Those are the worst.
Nintoaster coming up on a Botloon, which really, if you think about it, is actually the scariest boss in the game. For the simple fact, in real life, if I saw a water snake, I would lose my mind. So that's what makes them scary to me.
Snake. Why did it have to be snake? Yeah, that's a pretty scary one. And he'll pick up the E-Tank here. That'll give him more than enough energy to do the Shine Spark kill on Dragon.
Yep, nice entry to the slip and slide there.
Can we get people happy here?
Should be close.
Looking good. And he does. Very nicely done. That is not an easy trick to pull off. Let's see what Dragon has to offer. Like he's going to start with the X Factor and the Shine Spark at the same time. One of the nice things about using Shine Sparks to kill Dragon is that normally when you use an X Factor, if one of the particles miss, you can't shoot anything. But that doesn't stop you from Shine Sparking. So.
Probably not the best X Factor particles, but they're all gone, so that's a plus.
Yep. So one more Shine Spark to go. Oh, doesn't quite get it there.
Hopefully it's a little bit too low there. This, my friends, is how Meridia got filled with speedrunner tears. These types of Dragons right here.
Yeah, he's gotta be a little bit careful. Okay, should be fine now. Got some ammo now. And it looks like one last super brought Dragon down.
Excuse me.
Meanwhile, Stefcad's through Botloon. He's gonna farm up a little bit. Nintoaster picking up his space jump.
Really not sure what he was farming. He thought he was full on everything, but maybe I'm just crazy.
He wasn't quite full on everything. I mean, his numbers look good, so maybe he likes to rely on a little more ammo with Dragon. I don't know. Or maybe figures he can do it now and not have to worry about it later.
Very nice happy, though.
Yep. And kind of a high five in the Coliseum. So Nintoaster at the top of the Coliseum, and Stefcad at the bottom.
It's good enough for me.
Nintoaster gonna go pick up his plasma beam. One of the biggest difference between old route and new route. In old route, you still get plasma beam, making your Ridley fight and your Mother Brain 2 fight much faster. 20 shots instead of 60 shots.
And I'm not a math major, but that's a lot less.
I am a math major, and it is indeed a lot less. Or was, I should say. I do have a degree in math.
I remember I used to go in after in like one of the like derivatives classes. I used to be in there right after them, and I would see the stuff on the board and be like, no idea what they're talking about.
I could have helped you. Oh well.
I was just
Nintoaster,
taking business calc.
I've taught that course. I should say TA'd it, to be honest, but yeah. Stefcad finishes off Dragon. Yeah, it's a good point made in chat, getting that fourth E-Tank. In fact, both runners got below the 100 mark in their Dragon fight, so that's that fourth E-Tank proving to be very important.
Yeah, and Stefcad has full power bombs, so he will be pretty good to go into Lower Norfair, and I think, oh no, Nintoaster's found another one, so he's as good as he can get to. Lower Norfair being the one place in the game that you really have to manage your power bomb ammo because it's super important.
Super important. Otherwise, you might have to pick up those power bombs of shame, and nobody wants that. And Toaster going to go pick up his ice beam to finish out his full beam combo. We'll see which route he takes down to Lower Norfair, whether he goes the northern route or the southern route. Nice speedball into that room.
I'm going to guess southern route just because you can get the refill there.
It is one of the advantages of that route. Theoretically, done optimally, the southern route should be a little bit faster, but when you have to use the words done optimally.
Yeah, how often does that happen?
Exactly.
To answer the question about the expected time for any percent, the average runner time for everyone in the tournament is about 49 minutes, and I would say 50 to 55 minutes for these runners would be pretty accurate, and then maybe a few more runners kind of hitting that 45-50 bracket that you'll see a pretty strong contingent of those guys around too.
Yep. To repeat their PBs, which I said at the very beginning of the match, so for those of you that came in late, Stefcad has a PB of 52.32. Nintoaster has a PB of 49.12. So pretty close. Both right around that 50 range. And yeah, I'd say that's about, give or take a minute, how far apart they are. So keep in mind the difference with PBs. In a PB situation, you're probably not going to take quite as many of those safeties. You probably don't pick up that extra E-Tank. You might, you can, it's all controlled, so you can reset if you decide, Fantoon's giving me a slow, so I'm not going to get a PB tonight. So can't do that in a race setting. Well, you could, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah,
that's a very good
not
way
the best
to lose
idea.
the race. Very bad strategy. And Toaster going for fast pillars. Going for that short charge. And he gets it. That's a very nice strat to get, because otherwise you're using your power bombs to get through there. And like we said, power bomb management being very important at this part of the game.
It allows you to use the power bomb coming up here in the key hunters room instead of using bomb spread, so it's a few seconds faster.
And Toaster nicely jumping into Amphitheater. It doesn't fall all the way down. And makes very short work of that room. Meanwhile, Stefcad leaving with his ice beam. He's going to go down the southern route. I always find this route kind of fun just because you have that super long run towards Crockermire. And we'll wave hi to Crockermire, but we'll go right past him.
All right, hopefully he can get the... Ah, darn it. I was hoping he would be able to continue the space jump through the entire room because it looks really neat when that happens.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite. I wish that came up more in this game. That's one of my favorites. For us to run and then just jump with the speed echoes and the spin jump. Nintoaster about to enter his Ridley fight. 20 shots with the Charge Ice Wave Plasma combo, and Ridley will be done.
After the 11th shot, you'll see a significant change in the color palette of Ridley. So you'll see some runners who, if you're watching them, won't start counting until after that.
I know sometimes I'll try to count in the beginning, lose count, and then wait for him to turn red.
Or I just completely lose count and just keep shooting.
That happens too. Ridley has 18,000 health. The beam combination he has dealing 900. It's a little bit faster to use supers with higher DPS rate, even though supers, which do double damage, will do 600. Problem with using supers in this fight is then you are more likely to have to farm or refill in the ship, and you need those supers for Torian. So most runners will not use them here. He's got a pretty good count of 28, so he'll probably not have to stop at the ship as he makes his way to Torian.
And I think just because he took so much damage is the reason he's stopping to pick up this 5th tank. It's just about everything in Lower Northfield does 50 damage, so he could have taken 2 hits and lived for the escape, and I agree with that pickup for sure.
Yeah, I do too. And it's an extra safety, gets you out of Lower Northfield a little bit easier, and should make the Mother Brain fight just that much easier. Stefcad, meanwhile, only at 58 health, so he's got to be a little careful here as he makes his way towards Ridley.
Oh, we got
nice speedball to get out.
We had a Morphle high five.
We did, didn't we?
Is that a high 0 or a low 0?
I don't know. And Toaster doing a nice job of avoiding those key hunters. Plasma Beam used the iframes of the space pirates to go right through them. One of the nice things about old route getting that Plasma Beam as opposed to new route, which doesn't.
Yes, Plasma has a piercing quality, which allows you to be able to get a double hit if things stay in the hitbox for long enough.
Yes, to answer a question in chat, is there an SM only randomizer? Yeah, there's actually several different versions of the SM randomizer. If you're interested in playing that and you don't know, I don't know off the top of my head what the website is, just go ahead and go into the SM Discord. There is actually an entire section devoted to the Super Metroid randomizer. And pretty much almost every day there are people racing randomizers. So it's pretty popular.
And people will help you get through it. You'll make stupid mistakes, but no one will think you're think any less of you.
And for those of you talking about ROM hacks, as Stefcad finishes off his Ridley fight, there's also a section dedicated to that too in the SM Discord. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, you should join up. Nintoaster leaving Norfair. He'll just make his way to Torian. I don't think he'll need to stop at the ship. His ammo looks really good. Energy looks pretty good too.
Stefcad making his exit chose not to get that the Ridley E-tank. So you're gonna have to be a little bit more careful.
It doesn't quite get the speedball, but bombs will do the job. Not sure how much time that speedball saves. It just looks really swag. I still have to be very careful with these key hunters. And I like that he chooses to shoot them instead of trying to clip through them. A little bit safer.
Yeah,
because even though you can clip through them, but if your timing is off by just a little bit, that's not good.
Yeah, and they have, I think, 2,000 HP, so it's not that difficult to just take. It's not that long of a process to take them out with that beam combo.
Stefcad with another beautiful speedball to get into the Terminator room. Always feels good when you get to this room with the space pirates. You can just plasma them. Oh, and Stefcad gets out with 28 health. Now Nintoaster gets to take another break during the G4 cutscene.
Definitely the hardest room in the game right here.
Okay, and Nintoaster's heading into Turian.
Ammo's looking strong, which is nice because the Metroids have been really stingy lately.
Yeah, we've had a few. I've commentated a couple matches where they've had to reset the last room just to get their supers.
Oh, they're still being stingy though.
Yeah, he needs to get a few more of those supers to have enough ammo at the end. Now he's full up on supers. So that's better. You can kill a Metroid with either one super or 5 regular missiles. I suspect here he might kill a couple of them, see what he gets. Using missiles instead of careful. Oh boy.
You're kidding me.
Oh boy, he didn't get any super drops on that last one.
That is awful. Like, not awful that he did that, but awful
that he didn't get any.
Yeah.
Not a single drop from 3 Metroids. Oh my god. If he uses supers to open the doors, I don't think he's got enough to get through Mother Brain 1. He's probably gonna have to he's gonna have to go back and refill after using missiles.
Open door. I mean, definitely gonna have to missile the pink door, but I'm not positive about the eye door, but that would probably be.
Well, he might as well missile the eye door. The amount of damage that three regular missiles and one super is the same, and that's what you need to get through the eye door. However, usually it's better to go ahead and do the super on the red doors, because the red doors would cost 500 damage using regular missiles, as opposed to 300 damage using a super. He's opened up most of it. He's going to go back for the refill here. He should be just barely okay with this. Mother Brain 1 is kind of funny. Mother Brain 1 has 3,000 HP. However, you have to start by getting the glass open, which takes 6 projectiles of any kind. So he'll use 6. He'll want to use 6 regular missiles to open up the glass, and then he should have enough to finish her off with the rest of his ammo.
Yeah, he'll have 100 damage. Yeah, he should have missiles extra, but yeah.
I have to disagree with his not saving here. With this ammo count, if he gets anything sniped, he could soft lock here.
Oh yes, very easily he could.
And exactly enough. Calculated by Nintoaster. Nicely done.
He was paying special attention to those turrets. Like, they would move, he would stop. Interesting that he did that deboost there, because now it takes him one catch-up could really put him in trouble.
This will take 20 shots. His beam combo. After he gets 3/4 done, so after this, I believe actually after the 16th shot, it will start to catch up. And there it is. Almost through. And he should be fine now. And Stefcad has made up a little bit of time with those ammo issues. Don't think it's going to quite be enough to catch him up.
No, but he did get much drop luck than Toaster.
Plus, he had the extra missile pack from the ocean, or sorry, from the moat. Stefcad can't get the baby skip either. Oh, and he's facing left.
Right decision.
Wasting an extra 40 frames. Wasting extra 40 frames.
Never look back. Only bad things happen when you look back. I learned that from horror movies.
Horror movies, the great classroom.
Alright, everyone get ready for the saddest moment in video game history.
As the baby Metroid sacrificed itself for Samus. Stefcad getting a nice deb skip. Oh, and jumping right into the tank. I never seem to be able to make that work. And Toaster now has only the escape left. Meanwhile, Stefcad gets into his Mother Brain too.
Good job, Stefcad. Getting through Mother Braid 2. Took a couple of French fries to the face, but who doesn't like a good French fry?
And Toaster just using the normal right side shine spark. Goes right on past the animals, which I would expect.
Right.
And Nintoaster has done with an official SRL time of 51:03. GG to Nintoaster.
Yeah.
And while we
Good
wait out,
run.
yeah, very good run by Nintoaster. While we wait out this cutscene, a reminder to follow these runners. Both very, as it turns out, I was mistaken earlier, both accomplished Super Metroid runners. Also take this moment to update everybody on what's coming up next. Right after this, on Speedruns Live, we have Sarah on Gas versus In No Rush. And then at 10 o'clock Eastern Time, Ditmukai and I will be right back also on Speedrun Live for TG Derp versus Scotty McBody. And then at 4 a.m. in the morning, for those of you either in a nice European time zone or for those of you just like to get up early or stay up late, we have Nmet versus Keku Minshoyu. So we got a lot more Super Metroid coming up, plus a whole slew of matches coming up tomorrow.
Keku's got that advantage of being in Hawaii. That time difference helps him out.
Not sure if we're going to have any time for something's coming on Speed Gaming. Looks like right here on Speed Gaming 4 will be Near Automata. I'm not saying that right. I've seen that name before. I've not played that game, so I don't know anything about it.
Some game a lot of people seem to like, so if you want to watch that, watch it.
And if you want more Super Metroid, then head right on over to Speedruns Live. Oh, and Stefcad going ahead and saving the animals. I always like to see that.
Questionable decision.
Oh. And Stefcad has done with an official SRL time of 54:29. GG to Stefcad. Very nice race.
Good job by both runners. Make sure to follow them. And follow Tracy. And
follow Ditmu.
It's questionable. Follow all 1,700 Speed Gaming channels.
And Stefcad has done with an official SRL time of 54:29. GG to Stefcad. Very nice race.
Good job by both runners. Make sure to follow them. And
Okay, we're still checking on the interview situation. Keep everybody up to date. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we're running a little bit behind, so we're going to go ahead and just throw it to the next race. Thank you, Dipmunk, for commentating with me. It was a pleasure. Thank you to Nintoaster and Stefcad for putting on a great race. Thank you to Speed Gaming for showing the race. Thank you to the organizers. Any last words, Dipmunk?
no. Thanks for carrying me, and everyone have a wonderful 45 minutes till
until you have to listen to us again. So I'll be signing off. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, wherever you may be.